GG. What's up everyone, welcome back. Today we're playing some Esper Doom Foretold in Explorer/Pioneer. But before I get into the deck list, I wanted to talk about Wizards' announcement that moving forward, all Universes Beyond sets will be standard legal and therefore Pioneer legal, because they'll trickle down to Pioneer. I just wanted to address that real quick. I'm going to make a whole separate video on it, so I don't want to take too much time here. My first reaction to it was pretty bleak. I think most of the community feels that way too. But I've had some time to think about it, and I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm not the biggest fan of other IPs mixed in with Magic's IP. I really love Magic's IP. That's what got me into the game, was the art and the story. But there is a world where Wizards does a really good job with the Universes Beyond sets and sort of seamlessly blends them in with the other sets. Now time will tell if that's the case. There's obviously a world where they do it really badly and we just have SpongeBob control versus, you know, Squidward mid-range or whatever the meme is, but I hope that's not what happens. I hope they, you know, the next couple sets are Final Fantasy and I'm blanking on it, but they're sets that are like, or they're IPs that are a little bit more serious. They're not like jokey like a SpongeBob would be, or a you know, Frozen, you know, Disney Frozen IP would be, right? They're a little bit more serious, so I'm gonna give them a chance to try to get it right. And the other thought I had about it being standard legal is it'll make Universes Beyond sets lower power level. The last one that we had was Lord of the Rings, which was really high power level, but that's because they had to make it playable and modern. So if they balance the new Universes Beyond sets for standard, a lot of the cards won't be playable anywhere but standard. Now there will be like the occasional Shieldred and whatnot that pops out, but by and large most of the cards won't be playable anywhere else except for standard, and only a couple will trickle into Pioneer and definitely only a couple into Modern. The power level just scales up too high. I think the main point they want to do is, or that Wizards is trying to get at, is they want people to buy these Universes Beyond IPs and then be able to play them anywhere, even if they're bad. Players that are more entrenched like us, we won't be playing them because they won't be powerful enough. But the people that buy the cards that are super excited about their Final Fantasy set, they could make a standard deck or a Pioneer deck or a Commander deck or a Modern deck. It won't be good, but they'll be able to do it, right? And I think that's what Wizards is going for. It's gonna make people who maybe don't play Magic now get into the game, and then once they're into the game, they'll get more into the Magic IP. If that's the way that they do it, I'm cautiously optimistic that it could work. The best of both worlds would be we bring in new players and we keep Magic's IP healthy and strong. And if they can do that, if they can walk that line and balance it, then I'm for it. But time will tell. Like I said, time will tell. And I'll make a whole video breaking this down a little bit more. Since the announcement just happened this last weekend, MagicCon Vegas, I wanted to address it real quick before we get into the video. So anyway, enough of that. Esper Doom Foretold. This deck is pretty old. It was a standard deck from, you know, Eldraine days. It's based around this card here, so I'll give it a quick read. Doom Foretold, 4 mana Orzhov enchantment. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a non-land, non-token permanent. If that player can't, they discard a card, they lose 2 life, you draw a card, you gain 2 life, you create a 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance, then you sacrifice Doom Foretold. This is kind of like Smokestacks, but like a much lighter version of it, a much more standard friendly version of Smokestacks. Essentially, on each player's turn, we have to sacrifice an on-land permanent, which is a huge drawback, right? Except our deck is built around it, so we can play a Treacherous Blessing, draw 3 cards, and then next turn sack it, and we don't have to deal with the losing 1 life every time we play a spell thing. You know, we have all these enchantments and sagas and things that come down and give us value, and then we can sacrifice them because we don't care, right? And then golden eggs, little artifacts, things like that, Omens of the Sea to dig through our deck. So we have a bunch of fodder for this card, but obviously our opponent's decks won't be built around this, so it's going to really hinder them while helping us advance our game plan. The way the deck works is it kind of works like a mid-range deck. We you know, move the opponent's stuff, we get down a Doom Foretold, we have more, you know, stuff than they do, we make some 1/1s, and we kind of dirtle around for a bit. And then we get to a point where we have enough mana to dance with the Mance. So all these, you know, enchantments and dirtily little artifacts that we've sacrificed over the course of the game that are now in our graveyard, we can bring them all back to the battlefield. And if we pay X is 6 or more, those permanents turn into 4/4 creatures. They still ETB and do all the stuff that they would. They're still enchantments. Omen the Sun here would give us 2 1/1 human soldier creature tokens, and Elspeth's Nightmare would remove a creature. They still all do those ETB triggers, but now they're 4/4 creatures. If we do it for 6, we have 6 4/4s. The goal of the deck is really to drill around, make sure the opponent stays kind of locked down, and then eventually dance to the manse and beat them down with our enchantments. Some other cards that are notable: Clean to Dust helps with decks that like the graveyard, but also helps us gain a little life if we need to. Get rid of problematic cards in the opponent's graveyard, helps us draw a card if we need to. Settle the Wreckage, just a nice little one-sided board wipe. Decks that like to attack in, we can just exile all their stuff and we can give them a bunch of lands, but we don't care about them having a bunch of lands. All we care about is their non-land permanents. Treacherous Blessing is such a good card in this deck. Drawing 3 cards for 3 mana is really, really good. Obviously the drawback is bad, but we can just sacrifice it to Doom Foretold or Rite of Oblivion. Mana base is what you would expect. It's mostly white and black sources with a little touch of blue. As you can see, there's only 2 blue spells in the deck. Everything else is Orzhov colors. Crawling Barrens. In a mid-range control deck like this, it's nice to have some creature lands. That way we have stuff to put mana into. So yeah, that's the deck. Let's hop into the games and see if we get some wins with Esper Doom Foretold. Alright, playing some Pioneer Explorer on Arena. Playing some Esper Doom Foretold today. We get to go first. Nice. They have Yorion. So Yorion implies that they're a similar deck to ours, where they're going to have a lot of permanents. Vanishing Force is good. We have both of our colors. We can play this and then play this on black, and we'll have all 3 colors. Elspeth's Nightmare is probably not going to hit anything, but even if it doesn't, it can get a card out of their hand eventually. Doom Foretold eventually is good. As long as we draw some lands, I think this is a good hand. I'll just play this tapped, not take the damage. Okay, so they are also Esper colors. Drew a land, so that's good. Now we have double white as well. I'm just going to go ahead and play the Elspeth's Nightmare. They could counter it if they want. I'm really just playing it for the second chapter. Oh, are they playing the same deck? They might be playing the same deck. The only deck that plays this is Doom Foretold. So if this is a mirror match, it's going to be quite interesting. I don't think I've played a mirror match of Doom Foretold in years, so they're playing a lot of Triumphs. Oh, no, they got green in their deck. I don't know. Actually, I have no idea. Maybe it's just a blinkable thing for Yorion. Okay, nowhere to run, and Fatal Push. I mean, this doesn't really affect us. I guess we'll just take the Fatal Push since it's a cheaper card for them. Let's go ahead and crack the Fable Passage. I think I'll get... We have double white. We have our blue. I think I'll go get another black source. So that we can... we have double black-white, right? Double Orzhov, so if we need to snap both of these, we can. And I think I just get down to Doom Foretold. I thought they were playing a mirror match, but I don't think we are. Nowhere to run. So they did that so that they have another permanent to sacrifice, which is fine. So they paid for Yorion, okay. Sacrifice the Elspeth's Nightmare, draw a card. Golden Egg, draw a card. Get down a permanent. Okay. This is a mono-color permanent, so it can't get Yorion. I think we just play this tapped and pass. Sacrifice the Omen. Now, if they do play Yorion here, it's kind of sad. They can't balance anything. The smart play for them might just be play nothing, because then the Doom Foretold will pop. Oh, sad Yorion. Okay. I don't know if they realize, but it's just gonna die next turn. It's their only permanent, but okay. Sure. Yep. Yorion. My turn. Okay. I think we might have 4 basics. Let's find out. I think I put 4 basics in. Oh, 5 basics. Okay, cool. I guess more white is fine. I wish I had another permanent to put down, but I don't. So we'll just pass. They have to sacrifice the Yorion. Gotcha. Okay, they're gonna sacrifice that. That's fine. I forgot that this has flash. Smart play by them. It was still a sad Yorion because they couldn't blink anything. Get rid of that. I don't think this deck is going to have a lot of other creatures to exile. We have 4 of these in the deck, so 4 mana remove Yorion is pretty good. Fortunately, we're going to have to sacrifice our own Doom Foretold. It would be nice if we had another permanent, but we don't. So we'll just hold up the all removal hand. Okay, Triome. Okay, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Too bad it's not 6. But still a really good card to draw. Last basic. So now our Fable Passages will be offline. So Doom Foretold will pop here. Draw a card. Make a 2/2. They discard a card, we gain 2 life. We're gonna get to look in their hand next turn. So if they do try to hold up something. Okay, alright. I think they played that now because Elthos Nightmare is gonna exile their graveyard. Beginning of each opponent's Elthos Manifest Dread. Do this first. Just see what's on top of our deck. We can get rid of this thing. Oh, Treacherous Blessing is nice. I don't think we need the Cling to Dust. So I think we do it like this. We can Vanishing Verse this guy. They still get to Manifest Dread. We get to look in their hand, it's just a land. So we can do this, and then we can write Oblivion next turn. Draw 3. Okay. Oh, never mind, we can do it now. Get rid of your face down card. I don't want to deal with it, whatever it is. Attack it with the Vigilant 2/2. Here we go. GG, GG. Locking them down. Esper Doom Foretold. Rank up. Do we, are we in Platinum now? Platinum, tier 4. Sick. Right. Alright, playing some Pioneer, Explorer. A little bit of Esper Doom Foretold. We get to go first. Our deck is mostly black and white sources, or black and white spells, I should say. So having 2 sources of black and white is nice. Vanishing Verse. If we draw another land, this is pretty good. Sad Omen of the Sea, but I think we still keep this. If we draw a blue source, then this hand's amazing. But even if we don't, we'll eventually get there, like a Fable Passage or something. Okay. No need to take the 2 life right now. They have red, so they could be an aggro deck, but I don't want to take the 2 life just in case. Ooh, Thalia. Well, that'll do it. Okay. Not drawing the land. Painful here. If we drew the land, it would have been no problem. We could have exiled it, but the land drop is painful. Oh, we're just going to miss a bunch of land drops, huh? Well, sometimes that happens. Still not out of this game, but we gotta hit a land on this next draw. It has to be... I mean, we can do this to draw a card, and it better be a land. Okay. It's a land. So hopefully they put the counter on Thalia again, and they don't do anything too meaningful this turn. Unlikely, but we can hope. Okay, that's fine. Oh, if we drew another land, we could have Omen of the Sun at instant speed. I think, yep. GG, I guess. I didn't draw lands. Alright, playing some Pioneer Explorer, a little Esper Doom Foretold. We can get a blue source with this, and then we have draw, and I think that works for us. We don't have a turn 1 play, so we can take it off to go get the blue source. We'll do it on their end step, just so we don't give them any information before we have to. Right, because this could be any land, any basic land. Okay. We could be playing control, in which case it's nice to have something at flash speed. Vanishing Burst, Cling to Dust. I mean, these are good cards against control, right? Yeah, I think we'll take them. Would you like to counter my egg? Okay, sweet. Full grip, pass the turn. They're gonna flash something out. Impulse. Okay, sure. We might want to Cling to Dust on their end step, so I'm gonna put a stop. Just to draw a card, because we can get rid of their impulse. When you're playing control matchup, you want to have cards flowing. Play this tapped, we can either Omen of the Sun or Vanishing Verse, whatever they're doing. We can also pop the Omen of the Sea. But I kind of want to keep my permanents on the battlefield, so we'll just do it like this. I wonder what their end game plan is. Is it like a Hullbreaker Horror or something? Okay, Omen of the Sun. Go with the sure. Do they have another counter? We're honestly okay if this gets countered. We want to get the counters out of their hand. So, you know, yeah. Then we can bring them all back with Dance of the Mance. Now that we have 2 Dance of the Mances, why don't we just push the issue? Counter. Okay. More expensive counter spell. Again. Okay, they're gonna go dig for a counterspell. Well, I mean, even if they hit something, we can Cling to Dust away their Memory Deluge, which is good. Okay, no counter. Doom Foretold. We got rid of the cut down. Celestis. Okay. Impulse. Well, they basically tapped out here. I mean, well, they have 2 mana. So I guess they could be holding up another veto. What does this do? Mill 4 cards. Okay. Let's see if they have another counter. Get rid of their Memory Deluge. Unfortunately, also get rid of our Doom Foretold, but I think it's worth it. Dig through time. Gotcha. Okay. So they're probably going to get a Teferi down at some point. Something like that. Hullbreaker Horror, Teferi. Duress. Okay. Go to Dance of the Mance. So we have no more Dance of the Mances. Interesting. Let's do with Kyrie. It's basically Brainstorm on a stick. I've never seen a deck play this. Super cool card. I actually own it in paper, but I've never seen a deck play this card, so maybe just a mid-range control piece? I mean, they have a ton of cards in their hand. I wish we would draw an Elspeth's Nightmare so we could see what's in their hand. Okay, Founding. Gonna mill themselves. Interesting. We don't really have a good attack. We can sacrifice the Omen to scry 2. We can do that on their turn. They only have 3 cards left in hand. We have enough mana to settle and Omen. I think we just pass. I really don't know what their deck's doing. Okay, another Dig Through Time. What is this deck? I'm so confused. Okay. Pass. Okay, well. Let's try 2. We don't need lands. Good scries. Rite of Oblivion's pretty nice. They really want to put cards in their graveyard. We've lost all our Dance of the Mances, so I'm trying to figure out how to win this game. I mean, I guess we just gotta attack in and beat them down, right? Get in for 5. End the turn. They know what our hand is, so if they want to attack, that's fine. We'll just exile the Rafine. If they want to counter it, that's also fine. Just make sure they get no value off the Rafine. Valgavoth, okay. Sacrifice 3 non-land permanents. Well, we can do that. So Valgavoth is their end game. They tapped out for that too. Don't need the land. Like that. Yep. Rid of Valgavoth. They're down to 7. Do they have another Valgavoth? That would be sad. Virtue. Okay. That is definitely a problem. Get in. Treacherous Blessing. If they have a counter, they should definitely counter this. Steps ahead. I wonder if they're gonna mill themselves out. Is there anything in their graveyard that we definitely want to get rid of? This, at the beginning of your upkeep, put target creature from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Right now there are no creatures in the graveyard, but I guess we want to save this for that, and then we'll just in the turn. We can also start pumping up our crawling barons and attack them. Okay. That's fine. Yeah, I think that's what we do. Let's force them to have an answer to crawling barons. Okay, down to 1. End the turn. What do you got, opponent? What do you got? Okay, but there are no creatures. We exiled them all. The passage. I think they're going to gain a life from the Celestis, so we're going to have to pump up the Crawling Barons. Okay, on their end step, I want to see. I think that will stop their Celestis trigger. Elspeth's Nightmare and Omen of the Sea. I think we'll do it like this. Yeah, it stopped their trigger. They can't do this at instant speed. So unless they have another way to gain life... GG? Okay. Got it. They have a creature land. It's a 1/4 until end of turn. Perfect. Okay. Block. You got it. Down to 1. Elspeth's Nightmare. Do you have another counter? Bye-bye creature land. And then we can Omen of the Sun. I think that's going wide is probably better here. Doesn't seem like they run board wipes. Is there anything in their graveyard that I care about? That's a land, not a creature, so I don't care about that. Anything in our graveyard? Nope. End the turn. No Celestis trigger for them. If they don't play anything here, just pass. Oh, wow, okay, GG. Woo! Battled it out with the weirdest control deck I have faced in a while. But, good game, good game. So yeah, it looks like their strategy was just eventually get to Valgavoth. But they had some weird cards in here. It's almost like just a Esper control deck with just like some rares and mythics that they've cracked. I don't really understand what the synergy is of these, but they are cool cards. I will give you that. Maybe the Reanimator thing, right? It doesn't really work against our deck, but you know, using Virtue of Persistences to reanimate these cool creatures. I mean, I could see it. I could see it. But yeah, if you have exile removal, these reanimation effects don't do anything. Anyway, GG. GG. Alright, playing some Pioneer Explorer, MTG Arena. Opponent gets to go first. We have all our colors and a way to get black if we want to on turn 1. I mean, this is all good. This kind of insulates us from aggro, and this helps us against a mid-range control strategy, so I think we'll keep, since we don't really know what our opponent's doing, we don't have any clues. Yeah, we'll keep, and I guess we'll just turn 1 Fable Passage, go get a swamp, unless we draw one. Opponent goes down to 6. Play a Hedge Maze, interesting. Maybe Uro? We do draw the swamp, so now we have 4 lands, so I won't do the passage. I guess I'll lead on the Hollow Fountain, not take the life, because I don't know what they're up to. Okay, so definitely Simic. Simic something. My guess is Uro. That's the best thing you can do in Simic, I think, and Pioneer. We got a blue source down, so let's get the black source, pass, and we'll have Omen of the Sea on their end step. Scry to draw a card. Yeah. I think we'll do it like that. See what they're up to. I love Omen of the Sea. It's like no one wants to counter it or get rid of it, but it's so much value for 2 mana. Let's do double white. We definitely don't need more blue sources. We don't have a target for Elspeth's Nightmare, but it would be good to see in their hand. And if they counter this, then that's a counter spell out of their hand. So it's a win-win. Glowing Dread. Manifest Dread. Whenever you turn a permanent face up, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Okay. Aha. Gotcha. Okay. Did not know that that was possible with Dread cards, that you could bounce them and then flicker them up. Okay. Well, we didn't have anything to deal with that anyway, but... Well, the Vanishing Verse. So we have to get more permanents down. Yeah, let's get rid of your Fading Hope. Let's go get... Okay, so we can get rid of their Valgavoth this turn. It's gonna suck, but we can do it. Another white source, since we have so many white cards in our hand. So what we'll do is we will get the Omen down. Do we take the land? I think so, because Dance of the Mantis is coming up. So we'll take the land. Then we will Vanishing Verse their Valgavoth. We're going to have to sacrifice 3 of our permanents, but we have permanents to sacrifice. Definitely going to get rid of the 9/9. Okay, so does your deck do anything now? We'll flash these out instant speed. Done. The 1/1 gains life. Fallen Barrens. Attack in with the 1/1s. Let's see what's in our graveyard. Just the Vanishing Verse. Alright. We'll hold one back just in case that they have some kind of bounce spell or something. Manifest Dread. Okay. Does that mean they get another Valgavoth? Is that how that works? What is it actually? What are the rules? Look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put 1 to the battlefield face down, and the other in your graveyard. Okay, so they got really lucky with the Valgavoth on top of their deck. Is that what happened? Let's pop one of these. Scry 2. Doom Foretold. That's perfect. We can put the land away. Yes, we'll definitely take the Doom Foretold. What is this? Okay, Otherworldly Gaze. Down the Crawling Barrens. Is this a token? It's technically not, right? So this Doom Foretold would get rid of their Growing Dread? Is that how that works? Attack in. They'll block. Alright. Still Doom Foretold. Have you seen this card before? In the turn. And then we can Omen the Sun on their end step if we want. They're reading the card. Otherworldly Gaze. So I guess they're trying to use spells like Otherworldly Gaze to control the top of their deck. Then they manifest a Valgavoth or something else, and then they flip it with Essence Flux or something like that. Interesting. Definitely would have been devastating against a different kind of deck, but we have permanents to sacrifice. That's how our deck works. So thankfully we had the removal spell, because 9/9, flying 9/9 is pretty big clock. We'll have 2 Omens of the Sun in the graveyard. So if this is Valgavoth, oh no, it's Growing Dread. Okay. Put a Valgavoth in the graveyard? I'm so confused. Isn't that what you want to do? You want to put that as the face down card? I don't know. I was going to keep doing my Esper Doom Foretold thing and just keep on chugging along. Oh, 2 Doom Foretolds? That's got to be GG, right? And then we can get them all back with Dance of the Mantis. I don't think they're running counter magic. Uh-huh. Okay. Surveil 3 again. GG. Yeah, staring down the shotgun barrel. I get it, I get it. 2 Doom Fortolds is a lot. Alright, playing some Pioneer Explorer. Playing a little Esper Doom Foretold. All of our colors, which is nice. We get to go first. Way to draw a card, way to get rid of something. Yeah, I think we keep. Nice little curve here. I think we play this on turn 1, don't take the damage. We can get a blue source down. Well, maybe I should do white source since we have a blue source here. Yeah, I think that's what we do, and then we egg. Radiant Fountain, huh? Colorless land on turn 1. Murex. Okay, interesting. I wonder what we're playing against. Maybe like Karn or something? We'll get the Omen of the Sundown on their end step. Vaults, interesting. Okay. Interesting. A completely colorless deck. I don't think I've played a colorless deck in, well, any format in a long time, but definitely not in Pioneer. Definitely limits what they can do, you know. There isn't a lot of colorless interaction. There's obviously good colorless spells, but there isn't a lot of like removal in colorless or board wipes and stuff like that, so narrows down how they can interact with us. I think their goal of their deck is just to get to big mana and play Ulamogs and Karns and things like that. I think we just do the Doom Foretold thing and slow them down, right? Get another black source. We have a blue source in hand. I know it's tapped, but and we could have gotten an island to make this untap, but I don't want double blue. There's not enough blue in our deck to warrant that. So let's get down to Doom Foretold. Like I said, they only have colorless sources of mana, so it's not like I can't think of any colorless counter spells. I know they exist, but I can't think of ones that would get rid of, that would counter Doom Foretold. I think there's one that like, but it's not Pioneer legal. It's from the Modern Horizons 3 set that like counters a multicolored spell or something, but like I said, it's not legal in Pioneer. Okay, get down the tap blue source. Do we attack in? Because they can fire up Mutavault, which is a 2/2. I guess we do, right? Because then we can blow up their Mutavault. Yep. Oh, non-land permanent. Alright, we couldn't even do that, but that's okay. They're not gonna go for it. We have Settled Wreckage too, so if they do try to attack in with the Mutavault, we can get rid of it that way. So Doom Foretold's gonna pop here. They're gonna have to discard a card, we draw a card, make a 2/2, and we gain 2 life. So what they discard? Yeah, they're trying to go like mega ramp, like mega colorless ramp. Cosmos Elixir, gain some life, scry. At the beginning of your end step, draw a card if your life total is greater than your start, otherwise you gain 2 life. Okay. Go ahead and draw a card. Let's get rid of their archive, I guess. Essentially at this point we're just trying to be faster than them. We do have exile removal if they ever get something scary down. Let's go ahead and Omen of the Sea. See what's on top of our deck. Another Omen of the Sea. Did we already play it? We did play a land, so we'll do it like this. They can't fire up their Mutavault, so attack in. And then we can play our other Doom Foretold and make them sack their Cosmos Elixir. Sacrifice your Cosmos Elixir. They were far away from drawing cards with this, but the life gain is pretty annoying. 2 life a turn is a lot against our dirty deck. They're gonna pass the turn. Okay. lot of white in our hand, so I'm going to put it down on white. Let's go ahead and scry 2, draw a card. I love Omisy. I know I've already said it, but it's just such a good card. Hello. We'll keep this as a backup because this one's gonna pop. We'll attack in. Yeah, so they can fire up the Mutavault. I think we still gotta do it though. They can fire up the Mutavault and block the 1/1 and keep their Mutavault, or they can block the 2/2 and lose their Mutavault. So it's really kind of a bad situation for them either way. We're gonna make another 2/2 anyway when this pops next turn. So I think we're like one Dance of the Manse away from just wrapping this game up. What is this? Mirror box. Legend rule doesn't apply to permanents you control. Each legendary creature gets +1/+1. Each non-token creature you control gets +1/+1 for each other creature you control with the same name as that creature. Huh. Thran Temporal Gateway. Oh yeah, put a historic permanent. Okay. Pretty good. Does cost 4 mana though, so they can't do it right now. Get rid of your mirror box, draw a card. They are taking 6 next turn. Now they're taking 8 next turn. Fire up that Mutavault. Yep. Gotta block something. I mean, you want to take out a 1/1, that's fine, but you're looking at lethal next turn. They're tapped out as well, so they're gonna untap and they will have the portal, so they can pay the 4, get something down, and sack their portal. So what do we think that they have that would be like game wrecking? You may put historic permanent card. So all the Eldrazi have cast triggers. Oh, okay. They didn't want to find out. Alright, well, let me finish my thought. So the way that Doom Foretold works, it says at the beginning of your upkeep, you know, the trigger goes on the stack. So they would have untapped their lands and be in their upkeep, so they could pay the 4 with the untapped mana, and if they have something really scary in their hand that's a historic permanent, they could put on the battlefield. But I was trying to think in my head, like, what could they possibly have? We don't really have any clues from their graveyard or exile, although this is kind of a clue. It's got to be Eldrazi, right? But the thing is that putting it on the battlefield, it's kind of like reanimating it or, you know, cheating it out. It skips the cast trigger. You're not actually casting the spell, and all Eldrazi's have cast triggers. So like Ulamog, 10 mana Ulamog, for example, has a cast trigger where you get to exile 2 permanents. So they wouldn't get that trigger. It would just put a 10/10 indestructible down. So what I was gonna do was play Doom Foretold, so they'd have to, you know, sack something. And I was just trying to make sure that was the right play, because I didn't want them to cheat something out that then put me in a bad spot. But I think really, you know, Doom Foretold would have made them sack this, and then, you know, they wouldn't have had something else to sack. I mean, yeah, because it says non-land, right? Yeah, so they couldn't even fire up the Mutavault to get around this trigger. So I think, you know, worst case scenario, they get something down. We're at 28 life. We're not going to die next turn. They sack their portal, right? And they get, let's just say, the biggest, baddest Eldrazi down. Well, we still have our Doom Foretold, so next turn we just sack something. We could Rite of Oblivion it, you know, assuming we can target it. It's not, you know, hexproof, or it has some crazy ward ability or something. And then they're just going to have to sacrifice it anyway to the next Doom Foretold trigger. So I think we were fine, if that makes sense. Anyway, just explaining the way I was trying to wrap up that game. Make sure we didn't trip over ourselves. Alright, deck review time. So let's talk about the deck. I think it performed really well. We ranked up. We're now firmly in Platinum, which is awesome. I think the deck could use a couple tweaks, but like I mentioned in the intro, this is kind of the version that existed in Eldraine Standard, right? I mean, a lot of the cards are from Theros and Eldraine, including a lot of the lands. So this deck could use a little upgrade. I know there are versions out there that use, it kind of leans more towards the Esper side of things, and or I mean the Orzhov side of things. Like they cut blue out of the the deck and they run a lot more like discard effects and stuff like that. That might be a fun version to try. I really like this deck, and I feel like you need the blue for Dance of the Manse, and if you're gonna run blue, you might as well run Omen of the Sea. It's just such a good card. So I like the way that this deck is set up. The things that I would change, I think we need at least one more Treacherous Blessing. Whenever we got this card down, it was just a huge value swing. I mean, drawing 3 cards for essentially no drawback in this deck is incredible. And I think I might cut 1 Cling to Dust to get that Treacherous Blessing in. You could argue you could cut a land too. How many? I think we're running 24 or 25 lands. Yeah, we could probably cut a land and get a Treacherous Blessing in. Maybe even, you know, do 1 less Cling to Dust and do 4 Treacherous Blessings. That might be the way to do it, because 3 mana draw 3 in this deck is just so good. So that would be the one thing I would tweak. Otherwise, I think the deck is pretty well built to handle most of the decks in Pioneer / Explorer, and I had a lot of fun playing it. So if you like the deck, like the video, leave a comment down below. Obviously subscribe, and let me know your thoughts. I really love decks like this that, you know, sort of revolve around a really cool card, and they don't play the way a normal deck does, you know. And by normal deck I mean like play some creatures, attack in, you know, try to get the life total down to 0. Like, this deck kind of breaks the rules of Magic, where it's like we're playing around a permanent type that people don't really have removal for, right? Sometimes people have like a little bit of enchantment removal or non-land permanent removal, but not really enough to handle all of our enchantments. And then, you know, they definitely don't have a way to deal with Doom Foretold unless they can get rid of it, right? I mean, decks are just not built to sacrifice permanents most of the time. And they're, you know, on top of all of that, not dealt to deal with exiling our graveyard. Like, they're so busy trying to get rid of our little toys and deal with Doom Foretold and play around it, that when we eventually draw Dance of the Manse and we return everything back, it's just it's incredible value swing. So this deck like really keeps opponents off their you know, keeps them on their toes and keeps them off balance, is what I'm trying to say, because they're not used to playing against a deck like this, so we're already at an advantage. And then being able to play these weird cards like Treacherous Blessing and Omen of the Sea and Omen of the Sun and turn those into like extreme value. You know, people don't want to counter these spells, but they really should most of the time. They should counter Omen of the Sea, but they don't. They just let it resolve, and it's like, well, we get to scry 2 and draw a card. If we do it on their end step, it's really scry 2, draw 2, right? So yeah, I just love decks like this that, you know, use a really cool card, revolve around it, and kind of like bend and break the rules of, you know, 1v1 Magic. So I recommend you check it out. Deck list is in the description. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. See you guys in the next one. Later.